This video was made in collaboration with the Hunter x Hunter wiki. For more information, check out the link in the description. The life of Biscuit Krueger, otherwise known as Bisky, Hunter x Hunter. Biscuit Krueger is a double star stone hunter who was hired by Battera to clear the video game Greed Island following the auction for the game in Yorknew City. She prefers to be called Bisky. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over the life of Biscuit Krueger. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Background. Bisky started to learn Nen at the age of 17. She also studied Shingen Ryu Kung Fu and later became Wing's master. After passing the hunter exam at some unknown point, she served as an examiner herself. According to her, she has always been a consummate liar. Greed Island Arc. Bisky participates in Tezgera's selection test for Battera's Greed Island Challenge. She's in the first group of participants to stand in line, doing so right away, and to pass the test along with 20 other people. She's later relocated to Battera's mansion to enter the game. When she reaches Antokiba, she's approached by members of Neek's alliance, who take her to a gathering where Neeks, Genthru, and Asam explain the basics of playing the game to other new players and warn them about the bomber. Neeks asks the newcomers if they would like to join his alliance, but Gon refuses, his decision being respected by Killua. Bisky seems to have refused as well, and intrigued by Gon's attitude, she decides to observe the young hunter and his friend, commenting that it's fun to ruin the friendships of little boys. Yikes. She runs into Gon and Killua outside a shop and asks them if she can join their group, but Killua coldly refuses. Bisky becomes offended and decides to ruin their friendship beyond repair, but maintains her frail persona and follows them. On their way to Masadora, Bisky continues her pursuit while silently commending Gon and Killua's stamina. The three of them suddenly come upon a group of bandits who ask the three to help their village. In the village, the bandits explain that all their people became ill and that they need money to buy medicine. Bisky tries offering her money, but Killua asks her to keep quiet, further fueling her anger. After the encounter with the bandits, which leaves Gon and Killua practically broke, they proceed towards the Badlands plagued by monsters. From the sidelines, Bisky keeps a close eye on both of them. Although initially impressed, she watches their failures with growing frustration while secretly defeating the monsters herself until they encounter a radio rat, at which point she can't help but tell them to use Gyo. After they defeat the creature, she says that she will be their teacher from now on. After sending Killua flying twice, she introduces herself and answers Killua's objections by stating that she's Wing's teacher. She makes them aware of the risks by showing them the cards of the monsters they have failed to defeat. Suddenly feeling Binot's bloodlust, she warns Gon and Killua and has them pretend that they noticed nothing, staging her departure from the group to lure the murderer towards herself. After she lets him cut her hair with his scissors, Binot finds out about her true power and formally challenges her to a duel, with Bisky effortlessly defeating him. She claims that if Gon and Killua had been the ones to fight Binot, he would have killed them. Gon asks about her reason for coming to Greed Island, which Bisky reveals to be the rare gem Blue Planet. When she questions Gon in return, she learns that he's the son of Gene Freaks, and tells him that his father is, according to Isaac Netero, one of the best Nen users in the world. So she takes all the cards Binot has and tells him to evade the two boys' attacks for 2 weeks inside a rocky arena under pain of death. She tells them who Binot is and starts the training session. She's favorably impressed with Gon's special move and his decision not to begin an endurance contest. She quickly notices that the two boys' performance is improving and relishes their potential. She keeps watching while the three fighters rest, thinking to herself that Binot's imperfect Zetsu will not allow him to kill Gon and Killua in their sleep. 10 days later, when both have defeated the killer, she accepts his proposal to leave the island and turn himself in, understanding that it was Gon's intention all along. Next, Bisky has the boys run to Masadora in 3 hours. After buying a few cards, she has them make the return trip in 2.5 hours. She converts the cards into items and tells Gon and Killua to head back to Masadora, but by digging through any rock that stands in their way. At night, she has them sleep while sitting and holding a rope that prevents a rock, which she replaces with a bigger one every night, from falling on their head. Eventually, they discover Shu and reach Masadora again, completing the first phase of her training. Next, she has them go to Masadora again, but this time collecting monster cards on the way. While watching Gon try to catch a Hyper Puffball, she thinks that the game is ingeniously designed, and speculates that Jean created it to make his son stronger. When both manage to catch the Bubble Horse, she demonstrates Ko, and has them train their Ken to withstand it. After 1 month, she introduces them to Ryu, and watches them spar, which at first they do slowly, impressing her. After only 2 weeks instead of the 2 months she originally planned, she moves to train them by Nen type. After Gon and Killua have a rock, scissors, paper contest, Bisky explains that the game is derived by martial arts principles, inspiring Gon to mold his Nen abilities after it. She reflects that Gon thinks like a child, whereas she is appalled by Killua's ability to convert his aura into electricity, thinking once again that the two make a perfect team. She suggests celebrating since it's almost New Year's Eve, which reminds Gon of the upcoming Hunter exam. They head to Masadora so Killua can find out how to leave the island, eventually learning that they can complete quests for the Harbor Master or bribe him. Killua leaves, and Bisky resumes her training with Gon, but they're soon approached by Abengane, who tells them about Genthru being the bomber and his schemes. Afterwards, Gon asks her when his signature move will be perfected, to which she replies that it's a lifelong process, but that he'll manage to achieve what he envisions by the time Killua returns. Gon changes his mind and considers going to the Alliance's hideout to look for survivors, but Bisky doubts there are any. They go to Masadora and buy 60 spell cards, finding the rare fortress, which causes them to become agitated since they don't know what to do with it. She then returns to monitoring Gon's training, also expanding on his mission exercises. When Killua returns, the team casts spells for practice, and they discover that someone going by the name of Crollo Lucifer is listed in Gon's binder. Bisky asks several times to be brought into the loop, but it's only after she punches the two boys that they tell her about Kurapika, the Phantom Troop, and Judgment Chain. She states that it's indeed possible to remove Nen. After Killua phones Kurapika and they conclude the person in the game is not the real Crollo, Bisky invites Gon to show Killua his special techniques. After Gon and Killua have decided their Nen abilities, Bisky lets them begin actually playing the game. After acquiring more than 50 specified slot cards, they're recruited by Kazuo to join an alliance of players to stop Genthru from clearing the game. They then head to Sofrabi to look for the rare Plot of Beach GI card. During their first encounter with a group of pirates, Bisky challenges a pirate footballer, but intentionally loses. After acquiring information on the matches played against Razor's pirates, they form a stronger team by adding Goreinu, Hisoka, and Sezgera's team to face Razor and his 14 devils. When they win 3 consecutive matches, Razor challenges them to an 8 vs 8 dodgeball match. Bisky also participates in this dangerous game. She doesn't receive any damage, but she's still eliminated due to her dress being hit by the ball. Knowing her student's stubbornness, she tells Gon to beat Razor even if it costs him his life. The group eventually triumphs and obtains the card, but the bombers contact them, stating that they've killed all the members of the previous alliance and are now going after them. While Sezgera buys time, Bisky trains Gon and Killua for the approaching battle. When the time comes, she faces Battera. She uses a company to transport the both of them to a beach outside Sofrabi. She initially lands a barrage of blows on them, but he knocks her down with a slap. Laughing, she tells Battera that she let him land a strong hit on her face before her transformation because when she releases her full power, she sometimes fails to control herself. After returning to her true form, she instantly defeats Battera. She also notes that she hates her normal form because it's too buff. After beating the 3 bombers, they use the Angel's Breath card to heal Gon, Killua, Battera, and Genthru. Goreinu gives Sezgera's cards to the trio so that they can reach 99 specified slot cards and clear the game. To get the Ruler's Blessing card, all the players of Greed Island are invited to participate in a quiz, but Bisky doesn't play since she hates quizzes. Gon gets the highest score and is invited to the capital, Lemero. Bisky and Killua accompany Gon to the castle. She's later seen in the festival held in honor of the players who have cleared the game. After the event, Gon asks Bisky what card she would like to take with her when they leave the island, and she sticks with her dream of getting Blue Planet. When they're outside of the game, she uses Gain to get the gem and names it Pluchan. She's moved to tears by Gon's wish to introduce his friend Killua to his father. Afterwards, Gon and Killua part ways with her after she declines to continue on their adventure to find Jean. Chimera Ant arc. Bisky is contacted by Palm Siberia to help Gon and Killua train for their battles against Knuckle and Shoot in their attempt to return to Neo Green Life Autonomous Zone and rescue Kite. She waits for them to return after lunch and chews Gon out for his unreasonable resolution to get back to NGL in only 1 week. She tells them that she will not teach them anything else until they can maintain the Ren for 3 hours, but they can't even make it to 1. She has them try again and again late into the night, at which point she has Cookie massage the two to allow them to recover in only 30 minutes. Palm warns her to give up as soon as they realize it's hopeless, explaining that her rage will not be as intense. Bisky replies that she should say so to Gon and Killua, then asks her what Netero, Moral, and Nav will do over the course of the next month. After 10 days, when Gon and Killua manage to maintain the Ren for 3 hours straight, she sends them immediately to fight Knuckle and Shoot in their exhausted state, simply telling them not to take their tokens with them. She states that from that day on, they will maintain Ren for 3 hours, then challenge their opponents right afterwards. After another 10 days, she notices that Gon and Killua can maintain Ren for 1 hour while talking casually, but thinks that before they can force Knuckle to use his full power, 10 more days will be necessary, and at that point they will only be halfway through their training. She thinks that she'll be satisfied if her students can at least figure out what they're missing before Palm's ominous aura convinces her to prepare an escape route. Palm is aware of the exact speed of their progress, but Gon manages to ease her concerns to Killua and Bisky's awe. Bisky, however, remains worried about escaping Palm's wrath. On the day before the deadline, she allows Gon and Killua to rest before challenging Knuckle. When they return, Bisky has Cookie massage an unconscious Gon and orders Killua to spar with her. By doing so, she makes Killua aware of his inferiority complex when facing stronger opponents, adding that it's a habit that was instilled into him by the perverted love of the one who taught him to fight. She has him promise that if he can't win against Shoot the following day, he will leave Gon's side, as she warns him that he may end up leaving his friend to die at some point. That evening, she sees the two boys off and, uncertain of the result and still wary of Palm, flees the city. 13th Hunter Chairman Election Arc. Following the will of the late Chairman Netero, Bisky also submits her own vote at the first round of the 13th Hunter Chairman election and comes in 16th place. She later comes in 13th place in the second round and 12th place in the third round. Bisky is also among the hunters that will go to the hospital to check on Gon, who lies in critical condition after his battle with Neferpito. Bisky then comes in 10th place in the 4th round and finally 9th place in the 5th round, where she's taken off the list of candidates because only the top 8 are able to continue on to the 6th round of the election. Being near to Gon, Bisky is among those outside the hospital who feel a strange and incredibly powerful aura after Aloka heals Gon. She then accompanies Gon when he goes to meet Leorio in the auditorium where all the hunters are voting for the new chairman of the Hunter Association. Succession Contest Arc. Bisky is recommended by Killua to Kurapika, who's looking to keep tabs on some of the Kakin Empire's princes by having trusted hunters be hired as their bodyguards. Although she initially gets furious at Kurapika, she's soon pacified when he flatters her, and she resolves to do anything he says. She's eventually selected by Prince Mariam. On the day of departure, without him or anyone else from the hunters being aware of it, Mariam's guardian spirit beast leaves his quarters and enters Prince Wobble's quarters. When Kurapika uses the emergency channel, Bisky reports that she saw Nen beasts, which have since left, and that she believes them to be the product of parasitic type Nen. Later during dinner, she and Hanzo notice that Mariam's Nen beast has grown larger and that it knows that they can see it. After Prince Momose's sudden death at the hands of one of her bodyguards, Bisky tries to console a furious Hanzo who blames himself for not being able to save her. Mindful that asking him may make him even angrier, she still asks anyway what his plan is, hoping to help him calm down. He thinks that the murderer used a clone and that he was one of the 2 bodyguards on break at the time of Momose's death. Bisky agrees with his assessment, and Hanzo swears to her that he will make the murderer pay. Worried, Bisky tells him to get some rest. Later, the two notice the changes in Mariam's Nen beast, which Bisky attributes to his growing inner turmoil. When their shift ends, Hanzo tasks her with watching over his body while he uses his ability to look for Momose's killer, which Bisky agrees to in return for a nature beauty pack. When he comes back, however, Hanzo finds that Bisky and his body are gone. Unbeknownst to her, she and everyone else in room 1013 have been cut off from the rest of the world by a Nen ability. When the time of her and Hanzo's shift comes, she wakes him up, irritated at having been forced to stay up all night. Hanzo tells her about the condition of Mariam's quarters. She resolves to teach Nen to everyone in the room to convince Verge of its existence. Faced with his skepticism, Bisky returns to her true form in front of him, declaring that, unlike Kurapika, she can't promise that her students will master Nen in 2 weeks, but that if they're talented enough, their physical strength will double or triple in 1 month. Verge asks her to teach him and agrees to allow Bellarinte to leave the room. When he doesn't disappear right away, Bisky states that there are 3 different types of barriers, and that crossing the threshold might constitute the activation condition. Bellarinte finds himself unable to re-enter the room, which prompts Bisky to deduce that the ability belongs to Mariam's Nen beast. On Sunday, Bisky agrees with Verge that the ideal scenario would be one where Mariam doesn't have to leave the safety of the hidden room until landfall, but she also suggests sending the hunters stationed in it to the real room to reduce the burden on the remaining servants, as well as to maintain appearances. She preempts Verge's objection by stating that the room being cut off makes the presence of hunters there superfluous. She adds that she'll remain with Mariam since she deems a woman's presence necessary, and since the prince has taken a liking to her. She then goes to play with him, letting him ride on her shoulders. Did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.